Back in June of '01, someone left me unconscious on the side of the road in a hit and run motor wreck. I lost my career in IT. I lost my savings. I lost a photographic memory. I was messed up. Fast forward a little ways to July of 2002. I have an eviction notice from our apartment. I have turned my BMW into the bank. I'm waiting on Italy to make parts for my Ducati. I am 2 weeks out of a full shoulder surgery. I'm in an isolation brace, a neck brace, and a morphine pump surgically implanted in my shoulder. I call up one of my buddies and I say, "Hey, will you come over and shake my couch out for me?" He laughs. He comes over. He shakes my couch out. I grab all of the change off the floor and ask him to run me to a dollar store. I buy a bottle of awesome window cleaner, the cheap stuff, and a roll of paper towels. I also buy an empty squirt bottle so I can water down the LA Awesome window cleaner. The next day, I shove my sling just full of paper towels, and I hook the bottle of window cleaner on my belt hoop, and I start walking down the road, going business to business, just simply stating, "Hello, my name's Brian. I'm poor, I'm hungry. I'd really like to eat tonight. May I clean your windows?"
Catch you before you leave our live stream today. We are in fact live. We are just waiting for our live stream to begin. Please stand by as our live stream is about to begin. We go live at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time every single day, Monday through Friday, except for Saturday and Sunday. That is family time. But thank you for joining our live stream today. Please stand by as our live stream begins and wait and watch our commercials.
Hey, it's Harrison from reachit@futureclean.com. Before Ben and Perry go online, well, you may know him as Perry, I know him as Dad. While he's been semi-retired, I've decided that Reach is going to sponsor Service Six Sigma, because it's another way for Perry to be able to give back to the window cleaning industry and service industries in general. So let's get on with the show.
We have had many guests that we've had on our show. Be part of a growing community of guest speakers and share your professional insight in the mobile service industry. Welcome to a free live stream built around 6 sectors. This live stream created for mobile service professionals we would like to introduce you to your hosts, Ben Berglaw and Perry Tate. Welcome to Service Six Sigma, built for mobile service professionals.
Unmute. Here we are. We are live. Yee-hoo! Okay, today's live stream is with Denver Klassen from Canada, and it's going to be really, really interesting because he's actually got quite a broad scope of business. But first, I will explain really briefly what is Service Six Sigma. Service Six Sigma is for the service industry. So it doesn't matter which industry you're in, and then we're going to get guests from different industries in the and people who service the service industries. And so the idea is that we're going to be able to cross-pollinate different ideas from window cleaning, pressure washing, landscaping, roof guys, electricians, plumbers, all that kind of thing, everything in the service industry. And we're going to be able to get little ideas out of each person. The Six Sigma part is actually, Six Sigma is a business term about the perfecting of business processes by the elimination of things that are known to be able to go wrong. So sometimes you've got to expect the unexpected, and then as that happens, you build a new system and process to avoid it from happening again. And to make that easier, and also to make our discussion easier when we're talking with our guests, we have broken your business down into 6 sectors, right? So the first sector is the attract. That's how we get new customers, yeah? So it's our marketing and our social media and the way we use uniforms and truck wraps and things like that. Having attracted new customers, we need to convert them. That's our sales process. Now, that might be online, it might be in person, it might be over the phone with Google Earth, right? There's loads of different ways to go through that process. Having converted them to a sale, we need to deliver. So that's where tools and techniques, on-site safety, all that kind of stuff is involved. And once you've got all of that and the business is growing and starting to go crazy, you need more and more and more control, right? So the controls are your CRM, your softwares, your systems and processes, your operating, standard operating procedures, your training regimes, all that sort of thing. Now that you've got a whole spectrum of what business is, you can then scale. And part of what we're going to talk with Denver today is about, this process of scale. And having scaled, we invite you as a guest to give back and pass on just some of the gems from an experiential point of view, not necessarily from advice, because everybody's got their own path, but from an experiential point of view, what happened to you and how you dealt with, what went on. So with no further ado, I shall introduce the man from Manitoba, Canada, Mr. Denver Klassen.
Hey guys, good to be here.
How are you, mate?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Did I pronounce your last name right?
Klassen.
Klassen.
Yes.
Oh, that's more classy than Klassen. Yeah.
It's people say Klassen. It's German.
Oh, really? Okay. How long's the bloodline been in Canada?
Well, it's Low German actually. It's not High German. It's not from Germany. German is from Ukraine.
Wow.
Yeah. My ancestors came from Ukraine. They immigrated to Canada, probably before my grandparents. So before my time, yeah.
But they went from cold to cold, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what temperature is it there today?
With the wind, it was about -18, I believe.
Celsius.
Celsius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like 31 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, we'll get there in June for about 3 weeks, or July for about 3 weeks, and then
wow,
it'll get cold again.
Classic. Hey, when you and I know each other for a long time as from a customer, tool provider point of view, but I didn't realize how many services, because I only see the window cleaning side, right? But you provide a lot of services to your community, right?
We do, yeah. Yeah, we've grown. We've added more exterior services as the years went on.
What did you start with?
Started with window cleaning with just the applicator and a squeegee ladder, and then I bought a water-fed pole system about 1 year in when I started about 18 years ago.
Right.
It was one of these screw together carbon fiber Kevlar.
Yes. I remember those with the water going up the inside, right?
up the inside, and
Yeah.
well, I changed it to the outside
Good man.
because
Smart.
I wanted the hose on the outside. But when you're going up 6 stories and you're holding every section is about 5 feet, then you got to hold it
Yeah.
above your head, screw another one on, lift it,
Yeah.
then screw another one on. I'm telling you,
Oh
my left
God.
shoulder got pretty
Shoulder
strong.
burn. Shoulder burn. Shoulder burn. I was like this. I started window cleaning in 2006 with water-fed. I never did squeegee.
Okay.
And I did in the end, like for internals and all that. But I started as the ladderless window cleaning company, and I only ever used poles, and we didn't carry ladders. So I was I was already 45 or something. So I was going, I'm 6'6", 100 kilogram, 220 pounds. I ain't climbing a ladder. I'm not learning to climb a ladder.
I'm a little smaller. I'm 5'7.5" and only 140
Oh,
pounds.
you see, so there's people like you that we designed the Mini, and we changed the Pro to the Warrior, so to make those clamps able to be used. Otherwise, you got to walk your way up the pole to adjust it.
The Pro is tall for me. I can
Yeah.
use it. I have 2 of them, but it's tall.
Right. Yeah. So we reduced that, made it the Warrior just to get those clamps closer to the chest.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper to make a Pro because the longer, the longer you can make each thin section, the more feet you get for less money,
Right.
So a Warrior becomes a more expensive manufacturing and a more expensive buying thing. But from a when you're working, the time you don't have to climb the pole to catch the clamp and get back down the pole to where you want to work from it.
Right. Yeah.
So
I can move it up about 5-6 inches at a time, and then I gotta regrip and then move it up and then regrip.
Yeah. Whereas like for a Mini or a tactical, it's like you can move it 3 feet at a time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got it. So that was why I did that. That was always interesting. So after window cleaning, what did you get into? What was the next exterior service?
We really grew our pure water service for windows, and then about 5 years ago, we were getting complaints from customers, not about our work, but because we cleaned the windows, spiders were coming up and putting webs all over the house, over the windows again. So I'd been referring a pest control company to get rid of the spiders for my customers, and they weren't showing up in my area. So then I got certified as pest control, and I bought in with a company that had been doing it almost as long as I was doing windows. And so I learned from them. So I didn't have a learning curve. And so we carry another business called Sunset Spray South. And that's what we got in next. That was about 5 years ago, I think. And then about 3, almost 4 years ago, we're in our 4th season, we started doing something called soft washing, which is a complete exterior clean. And we wash anything from roof to curb without a pressure washer. So you'll see it a lot in your warmer climates where you see black algae, moss, mold, mildew growing on roofs or in the shaded areas, even on flat surfaces like concrete. You just see the mildew spreading. And we don't see as much here. It doesn't grow as fast, but it was very noticeable. So we got into that, and we're trying to expand that.
Yeah, because and then we chose our thread for your live stream as being choose wisely between pressure wash and soft wash. So you obviously have a pretty strong opinion one way or the other about this. Like where do you stand on this?
I do have a strong opinion. I've been pressure washing since the beginning. Since I started window cleaning, pressure washing was part of one of the options that we offered people.
Yep.
And I myself have.
Yeah, you got all the stuff. Look at your truck. Like we just put your truck. That's loaded.
That's a custom truck. That skid is made by a company called Soft Wash Systems in Sanford, Florida.
Oh, AC.
Some of the things.
Yep.
Yeah, AC Lockyer. Yeah, you know him?
Yep. Oh,
he's
a great guy. We've got him coming live in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. This is actually not even the Mac Daddy skid. This isn't the fully loaded one yet. But with this skid, the first I'm pointing here, you can't see it, but the first box on the left with the knobs, you can just dial in the solution that if you're cleaning a sensitive surface, you can dial the strength that you need. Sorry?
The red ones?
Yes. Yeah, you can dial in the soap volume. You can dial in your killing agent for the plant, because algae is a plant, and you can just make it as strong or as weak as you need to get the job done. And then the middle one is a pressure washer. The truck does have a pressure washer. And then the purple one with the purple stripe on it is our plant protection, where we have liquid fertilizer that neutralizes any caustic chemical or cleaning agent that we would put on a house. If plants, grass, shrubs get sprayed or misted with the cleaning or the cleaning agent, we'll just spray them down throughout the process. And when we're done, it adds nutrients to the ground. It neutralizes anything that might have hit the plants. And we just do property protection, plant protection, and it's all done with under 100 psi of spray.
Wow. And then you've got a pressure washer. How many, in a percentage terms, what percentage of work would you do now at a high pressure?
2.
Oh God, 2.
There's guys out there that don't even have one on their truck because you can do an awful lot without pressure. The only reason I have one is I do a lot of work at recreational properties, cottages,
right?
And moss grows nice and thick under the trees. So if we have to clean a deck or a concrete pad or something, and there's a nice thick layer of moss, my cleaning agent has a hard time getting to the roots if there's a lot of moss cover. So I just use the pressure washer to mow the moss off, and then I get to the roots and I kill the roots of the growth after I remove the moss.
And from a cost, from a customer benefit. So I'm thinking in the mind of your customer, right? So from a customer's benefit, if because you've obviously done years of pressure washing, so how would you compare your cost of service to a customer compared to pressure washing? Is it the same price? And
oh no, it's quite a bit more expensive.
Okay,
it's not even close. It's like comparing a Mercedes to a Chevy Cruze.
Got it.
The quality of service, the quality of the final results are not even close. With the soft wash service, we can actually get onto asphalt roofs or cedar roofs that are very sensitive and wash the algae and the mildew and it's called Gloeocapsa. That's the black growth. We can wash that off, kill it and remove it and treat the roof without pressure. But if you would try that with a pressure washer, you would blow the granules off the shingles, and they would then just flow into the gutters, and you would damage your roof quite badly. And some of the roofs we do are cedar shake, and they're also very sensitive and easily damaged.
Yeah.
So we can clean that without high pressure as well. So, and the results, if you just pressure wash, it's like giving whatever you're washing a haircut. It's like just buzzing it at the surface, and the roots are still there.
Yeah.
And the next season, it'll bloom again, and it'll come back thick. And you just trimmed it and watered it; it'll just come back nice and thick and full again.
So
whereas
you're killing the goose that lays the golden egg, bro.
You know what?
But,
that's why we have to charge a little more.
Yeah.
But the results last 4 to 6 times longer than with pressure washing.
No, you're talking my language. I mean, I'm, you know me. I mean, we haven't done everything perfectly, but I'm on the journey towards perfection, long lasting, the highest quality possible, because in the end, you can charge a good amount of money for it, make a good amount of money for it, and that's okay. And the customer gets a longer benefit. So it becomes, I don't know if you know the price versus cost analogy.
I've heard it. I don't think I could quote it to you.
Yeah. So somebody says that, the price is high, and you go, yes, the price is high, but the cost is low, right? So if you go and buy a brush, let's say that lasts 6 months, right? So I'm talking in my language, right? But it will apply it to yours. If you go, then our brushes have a higher price, and so maybe 50% higher, right? However, let's say you don't need to change anything for 2 years, and in the third winter or after the second season, you can change the bristles for 1/10 of the cost of the brush, then
right.
Or 1/5 or whatever. So over 5 years, right? And you'll never replace, like once you've got a rocker, you'll never replace a rocker because we're finished now. Like when you've followed me from the days of you were saying from the days of the Beta brush pack, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I've got them all.
So you, in that sense, we were changing every year and you would upgrade every year. But now we've got to where we want to finally, want to be, is that you'll never buy, like if you bought a radial rocker now and then, you can repair it, but you'll never buy another one, so you can do that. And so in the meantime, the other guy's changing, buying 2 brushes a year, 30% cheaper. Over 5 years, he might spend 4 times more than what he would on a radial brush, even with its repairs. So the price is high, but the cost is low. And business people think about cost. So applied back to your business, the price of a soft wash might be higher, but the cost is lower because you don't need to get somebody to come back year after year to give your roof a haircut, kind of thing.
Right, absolutely. Like we have maintenance plans available where if we do wash a roof, and it's really popular in areas where it blooms quickly and it comes back quickly, like say Florida, for example, or the deep south. They wash the roof, it looks great, and then they'll offer a maintenance or a plan to just come in and spray, just touch up the roof once a year. And originally, they'll offer a 5-year clean roof guarantee. I offer that as well, but because it doesn't bloom here, it's very hard for me to sell it. But down south, they offer a 5-year roof guarantee. Then if they come in and just do a touch up once a year, just to maintain that roof, they can add 1 more year to the 5 and just keep going until the roof is finally just worn out years later. It's a great way to help that roof live the life that you paid for. When people originally put it on, they buy a 30-year shingle usually, and they're often replacing them at 18, 20 years because of the algae growth and the UV breakdown.
Just the damage being done over the time. So is there when you talk about UV breakdown, I mean, is there a treatment that you can put on it to protect it from UV?
Yeah, we have a product we call Restore. It works great on, used to be called Wood Restore, but then they found out that did tests. They found it works great on all kinds of other products like fabric and cedar, like on wood, and also asphalt shingles. It actually adds essential oils back into the product or the surface we're washing. And it just, it locks in the granules for asphalt shingles so that if they were about to come loose, it'll lock in whatever's still there and just extend the life of the roof.
What's the pitch on a roof in where you are? You're near Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, I'm near Winnipeg. You know what? There's so many variables. We got your basic starter bungalows that are about a 5-12 pitch, and I've done houses that are like 10, 12. I haven't walked on those, but we can definitely spray them.
And so because I'm guessing, I'm guessing that the pitch of the roof is higher, because of the snow, right? So you need the snow to get off that roof. You can't let it. Is that where you are? Yeah,
we've got the pitches there for a reason, but it's not really excessive. I mean, it's no different than in the U.S. I mean, as you go further south, they're a little flatter.
Yeah,
they need the pitch for the water to run off because they get a lot more rain.
Right.
So if we get a lot of snow, then we just have to get up and clear the snow off our roofs.
What other service? Yeah, I'm gonna. So what other? Do you take the snow off the roof with a snow rake or anything like that?
I used to, but then there was a few winters where it was, nobody needed it.
Right.
And it was hard to keep staff. So then I just discontinued that.
It's like snow, like Ben does snow plowing, and just sometimes it doesn't snow, right? And so it becomes something you have to do yourself because you can't book people in for money that's not coming in.
Right. Like this year, I used my snow. Like I have a blade on my 4-wheeler, my ATV, and I think I started my 4-wheeler twice this winter, just to push snow. If it was like that normally, I wouldn't need it. But some years it's, every other week. But
yeah,
in the wintertime.
I bet your customers hate it on those really, really heavy snow years, because they. But what do? You give them a contract for snow, or you give them they have to pay as you go, pay by the snowfall.
Pay as I go. Just because it's so sporadic.
Do you run a contract, Ben, or do you just pay as you go?
Yeah, we run a contract for our commercial clients.
So whole year, no matter what happens, if it's not much snow, you win. If there's a lot of snow, you lose.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah.
So you have a skid steer, or you just, or how do you manage that? How do you clear?
No, I do the same thing as you. I use a ATV with a
With a
blade, a
blade?
V plow on it with a boss plow. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's put flashing lights on it, like programmable flashing lights.
Wow.
He looks epic.
Nice. You know, I'm not that eager to get out in the cold that much, so I'm
No,
okay
I
with
hate it too. Like I think this is my last year. I think I'm done. I hate waking up in the morning, late mornings, overnights.
Are you going to
Terrible.
turn it into a recreational vehicle, Ben, or are you going to sell it to somebody as a business?
I might keep it or sell it. I don't know. It's equipped to do snow removal. That's what's
Right.
needed
I mean,
to
it's
do.
like if you ever needed $1 for to buy your man,
Or I might just pay somebody to go do it for me.
Yeah, that's another way, right? That's another
Yeah.
way, like a university student or something. Somebody
Yeah.
needs some cash.
Need some decent cash, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you could always use it to go just riding. Just
Yeah.
exactly. Now you're talking my language.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
See,
I
for
love
winter,
riding.
I've got tracks for mine too, so I can.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I can exchange them, snow tracks.
For your
or-
four-wheeler?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
I
do
have
you
it
go-
for my dirt bike. The tracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you?
Yeah. It has one ski.
No way! You've got one of those,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
Augie. You should have brought that up. with
Yeah,
Augie.
like Augie's. Yeah.
I so want
I
to
love
do
it.
that.
It's so
Oh.
fun.
And do you go out on your 4-wheeler, Denver, and go bush?
Yeah, sometimes my in-laws have a place at a lake, and there's a lot of trails are out there in the area.
Yeah.
So we just go trail riding. In the
That's
wintertime, we'll
fun.
put the tracks on and we'll go ice fishing. We'll just ride out and
What? You go out on the frozen water?
yeah, oh yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, we
Yeah.
do that here too. On Lake Cascade, the lake gets really frozen, and we'll go ride our snowmobiles right across the lake to go skiing right at the resort.
And
Well,
do
scary.
you cut a hole in the ice, Denver, and
Yeah, with the drill, with auger about 8 inches or 10 inches diameter.
oh, goodness
And then
me,
you sit there with a line in the water and you just jig and
no
you know,
fire, right?
oh yeah, if it's cold, we have a tent. My son has a tent and it's insulated, and so we just put a little propane heater in there, and it's great. It can be minus 20, minus 30 Celsius outside. You're working, you're fishing in your t-shirt.
Wow, that sounds so cool. All right, well that's on my bucket list now.
There you go.
There you go. That sounds fantastic. Okay, back to business. What other services are you providing?
We do gutter cleaning. We call
Yep.
them eavesdrops here in Canada. You guys call them gutters. That's pretty popular in spring and fall. And so with window cleaning, gutter cleaning, interior and exterior window cleaning, there's actually apparently quite a few companies that don't offer interior, especially since the COVID thing. But people often ask, "Do you do interior?" And when we tell them that we do, they're kind of surprised. So we do a fair bit of that, and then bug control through our company called Sunset Spray South.
Yep.
And then soft washing through our with that soft wash truck. Those
That's
are it. Yeah, that's it.
And where you are, do you have insect screens on your windows?
Yeah, we've
What
got
is
a lot of mosquitoes here.
A lot of mosquitoes.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And then what was the other question I was going to ask? Is from the soft wash to the pressure wash to the like I was going to talk to you about spiders. You didn't send any photos of how bad the spiders make a window look, did you?
No, I didn't. No.
But
Um,
I think are you in that part of Canada where they just absolutely trash the window?
It can depends if I have some customers that have a farm, for example. When we sprayed their house, and the lady of the house was very happy with how her house looked. But then I got a call about a day or two later, and she was not happy how her trees looked because the spiders had moved from her house, and they made her trees look like a Halloween display. They're just full of webs. And out here we don't get spiders that are massive. I mean, their bodies are maybe that big,
Oh,
and
God.
So I don't think that's massive, but
No, that's pretty similar to Australia, but they still freak me out, you know.
yeah, nothing we have here is poison. I think most of the poison stuff is in Australia anyway.
Yeah, mate.
But they do make a mess with webs, so we just knock them off, and then we.
And
just
how far, like how far into the window from the corner, from the frame of the corner, how far will they put a web across the window?
Oh man, if your frame is like a 2x2 corner like this,
Yep.
it can stretch across like a foot in either direction.
See,
Wow.
like that is not normal.
No,
It's not normal. So when you're window cleaning, like how do you get that much web off a window?
oh, we have these round fluffy duster brushes.
Yeah.
And we put them on the end of one of your reach-it poles. I've adapted tips that I could just screw them on. I've taken sticks and I've made them fit so they fit inside the number 1 section. Clamp it in, screw the duster brush off, and then I just send somebody around and just sweep all the frames.
They come back looking like they got fairy floss.
Yeah, yeah. So what we do is we just run it on the ground, on the grass, or we run it in a tree just to pull the webbing off, and we just keep going.
But like when I used to do this in Sydney, like if you hit a nest and then all these little baby spiders jump out and start flying, and then that's a short season.
That's a short season.
That's why you get other people to do it, right?
Oh, I would never. Yeah, right. I would never get anybody to do anything I wouldn't do myself.
I know, but it is the worst experience when you're going, no, I'm covered in spiders.
It is a fun time. I've seen it a few times, not often. You catch the right day, and you can see a little spider on the end of a long web, and the breeze just takes it.
Yeah, it's migrating. Yeah, like when they panic, I'm sure they all jump out of the nest and go. They put 8 legs out, and they're tiny, right? So they can fly. There's no problem. They don't go splat on the ground or anything,
right?
You know. But, oh goodness me, I can remember some places I've been to and just absolutely freaked myself out completely.
Yeah, so we haven't encountered that too many times. I've actually got a young lady doing the spider application, prevention application right now. She's, I think she's 19. So she got certified as pest control. She's my lead. She's my leader on the truck.
Wow.
And she's doing that. Yeah.
What PPE does she wear? This has always bothered me about the pest controller, like, you know, from a concern point of view when I was thinking about, I did think about it for the same reason as you have. Right, is it's such a natural service to provide for a window cleaner if you have no problems pricing your service properly, you know,
right?
And you have an intention to deliver, you know, clean windows all year round for the customer because they paid a lot of money. I always say you paid a lot of money for your house to look at this view, whether it's a backyard or acreage or an ocean or whatever. But you know how much did this view influence you when you were buying this house, and how important is it to keep this view clean and clear, right? Crystal clear for you the whole time you've got this house, you know? Oh, that's my pitch. I've forgotten what I was saying.
Yeah, you're talking about the view. Sorry, you guys froze up there.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
You missed my pitch.
I missed your pitch. Something about the view and paying for the view. Am I right?
Yeah. So I said, like, so here's the question. When you bought this house, how much did that view influence your decision? Right?
Okay.
So, and they're going to say a lot, right? Because it's either acreage or a yard where they can see the kids playing, or an ocean or a golf course or whatever. So doesn't it make sense to keep your windows clean all year round so you really can enjoy the view? You know, you don't want to have them clean once a year where you only, you know, it's a little bit different because we'll talk about once a year where you are in Manitoba, because you don't have a whole year round season, but some people do. And then so about trying to keep that view available for you, and that's my job, is to keep you that view. But where you are with those spiders that can go 30 centimeters square on every corner, you know, like you go, you know, the integrity is like, if I'm really going to give you these clean windows all year round, I have to get rid of your spiders. I have to.
Yeah, no, but it's a matter of what's important, right?
Yeah.
If somebody wants clean windows, they'll go around and sweep the spiders themselves. It's a budget thing, you know. It's a budget thing. Some people
Yes.
can't afford both.
Yes, but I think, and then this is increasingly going to be, as we have inflation coming in and people's salaries are not being increased at the same speed, and they can't go out and get a second job. Some people can do Uber or whatever to catch up, maybe, but the apportioning of money, is going to be, more critical for some people, less for others. People who already own their homes, it's no big deal if the interest rates goes up, people who have got loads of money in the bank, no big deal that food cost goes up. But the other people who are just, really using their annual income on their annual life, those people are going to have to start, making those kinds of decisions,
Yeah, some people call it hand to mouth. Whatever they make with their hands, they just feed it to themselves, right? And then the money's gone, and
Yeah.
there's no savings there, right?
But it's a difficult chapter because, for example, if you're trying to put money aside, or you're trying to give your children a better education, or try to give them a more experiential life, you want to go ice fishing with them, or you want to go this, you've got to buy the tent, and you've got to buy the way to get out there, and you've got to buy the fishing gear, and it's definitely a difficult decision, to make it. Do I have a life and give my children like multiple experiences, or do I have savings and I preserve my future on the presupposition that I actually make it there?
Yeah. I learned a long time ago that there's no such thing as security, the job security. And so that's what I kind of teach the young people that work for us, is that there's no such thing as job security. You have security if you can deliver what your customer wants.
Exactly, right? That.
And if you go in thinking that you deserve a paycheck because you showed up, you're probably not going to get a very good paycheck.
Yeah.
If you think you deserve a tip because you delivered somebody coffee, you're not going to get a paycheck. So same as like a waiter or waitress, right? It's about the show, the theater.
Yes.
Right. And how do you make the customer feel? How did you deliver the service?
Yes.
Is the results, your product, is it fantastic that they're going to be just in love with you and they're not going to call you back for a fix up? Or if they do happen to call you back for a fix up,
they have an amazing experience.
Yeah, they know you're human and you made a mistake. Absolutely. And how do we respond to that request for a fix up, right? Do we argue with them, or do we say, no, we'll be there in 6 weeks? Or do we go there right away, say, I'm sorry, Miss Jones, we'll be back there tomorrow. And and that's what I teach my team. And my wife actually ran a financial course with our team just a few months ago, just to teach them about money management. And so we've got a pretty good team. This year we have 4 people coming back. 3 of them are women.
Yes.
And I'm just very thankful for the team that we have and the service that we can deliver through them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what is your cleaning season? How many weeks a year are you actually out and in the field?
Depends on the weather, temperature. Usually middle of April. In the last couple of years, we've gone to middle of December. But sometimes it can be middle of April.
36 weeks, something like that. And then what would be a bad year?
8 months is usually a bad year.
Right.
And 9 months is a blessing.
Right. It must make a huge difference, add another month's income to the year. And then do you make any money in the off season?
Yeah, we have a handful of commercial clients that are small, like storefronts, that we just take care of them year round. And so we go out, even when it's cold, we go out at -10, -15. I draw the line at -20, and that's too cold. As long as there's no wind, we can still work.
Yeah.
And so we just take care of the stores that are on our main street, and do that 1 to 2 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It keeps you active and gives you something to do.
Hey, one person on.
Are you using the same CRM for all your businesses, or have you got different CRMs for each business?
No, we use the same one. We use a company called Jobber.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You enjoying it?
Yeah, it seems to be good. Like, I have nothing to compare it to. I haven't tried any other ones.
Yeah.
It came very highly recommended. So we just bought their service and we adapted it to what we needed. I know there's other ones. There's Service Titan, there's Service Monster, there's a couple other ones, but Jobber seems to have what we need. And we have another program we use as well called Trainual, and that's our training system, where we got videos on there and how to do things, the pattern for using a squeegee on a window. We just got it broken down, and we have it all videoed, and it's how our team learns, right? And I think we've even got some of your videos on there as well, Perry. I hope they're not copyrighted because I'm using them.
No. Mine are all open source. I don't give a rat's ass about people. I love sharing. I think sharing is caring or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, definitely you can use mine. We've got some really good ones on the radial technique and stuff like that. We put a lot of time into those. But
yeah.
And then so how often at the beginning of the season do you have a training regime where you remind everybody how to do everything efficiently?
Yeah, we actually just last Saturday we had our leaders, our 4 people that are coming back, just in for a office training, just reminders. This is our standard. This is how we train new people. We got this many new people coming in. Just reminders on how to do stuff on their part, how to interact with customers. And then when it's warm enough to actually do water-fed work, then we'll bring them in and we'll just have reminders on how to actually do the process on a window.
Do you have overhead power lines there, or is everything under the ground?
A mix. It's both. Depends how old the neighborhood is.
Yeah, because that's the one that terrifies me. I just think, like we've got a PDF in our store for $1 now because we had somebody hacking us and putting in all these $0 orders. But it's in there for $1, which is about electrocution, how to avoid electrocution. You can print that and put your brand on it as well, But just that the risk is that somebody just has this idea that they're just going to carry a pole from one building to another or one window to another around here, and then there's a bloody power line and they haven't seen it or they're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to do it. The reason why I'm terrified is that I used to do it. And my buddy, a doctor in Fort Worth, Texas, he when he was at university, he watched 2 guys carry a ladder and hit a power line, like a high voltage power line, an aluminum ladder, and he watched them melt right down to the knees, right?
Oh my goodness.
Horrible. One of the guys died, and he stayed close to the parents, right? He would go over, a few times a year and see them as kind of like the surrogate son, because he was a medic, right? He was a doctor, so he became an emergency doctor even after that. I would have gone, no way. But electricity just terrifies me. That's
one of the things. One of the first things I teach them when we go out and we move the pole around. I said, we got to spot the hazards. You have to know where your hazards are.
Yeah, and collapse the pole. Just get in the habit of collapsing the pole. I know it's faster and more efficient to carry it, but collapse the pole if you're going to walk across anywhere,
Yeah. On a 1-level house like a bungalow, it's not usually a problem. But when you go for the 2-story or 2.5-story, sometimes the power line comes in right above the first floor.
Yeah.
And so you got to be aware of where it is.
Yep. And or they go between buildings or whatever. We had this guy had only ever bought a BOAB off us, one of the 5 tools or 3 tools or whatever, they were, gunslinger or whatever, but he died. He's the reason I wrote that whole thing on electrocution. I did I don't know, 20, 30 hours on it to try and get it all in one place, because it just was horrible. He was cleaning the Baptist church, and they'd put a transformer next to the wheelchair ramp on the footpath. So the transformer was built into the footpath. The wheelchair ramp came around. He's gone to go around from this window to that window, had to go around the wheelchair ramp and walk the pole into the cables next to the transformer. No choice. And he's dead in 0.3 seconds.
Wow.
Just horrible.
Yeah,
anyway, so that's so much critical.
We've been very, very fortunate. I'm happy with our training because we've only had like 2 accidents in 18 years. One was a cut with a razor blade, and the other one, a guy scraped himself on an item, a cage we were taking off of to protect glass. We were taking it off so we could get to the glass, and he cut his hand on the metal on the grid that was protecting the glass. So
how many grids do you get there? How many people are running?
Like on the metal to protect the glass?
Is it to protect the glass, or is it anti-theft?
It is anti-theft. It's just like a metal, just a metal grid that gets bolted to the building wall. It's nothing fancy.
How close to the window is standard?
This probably like that.
Okay.
It depends how deep the frame is.
Yeah.
It's bolted to the outside of the frame.
Yeah. I'm just thinking because
two places.
the G-force. I mean, I'm talking shop, but anyway, the G-force is only like half an inch deep, and sometimes those some of the security stuff that people are putting in now, and those security rails are going to get more and more as this people coming from the developing third world, whatever you want to call them, the developing countries, where they've had nothing, and theft is considered an acceptable way of having something, and so
Right.
I think that we'll see a real big push on people putting security screens in, and then you got to work out, well, how do I clean the window behind a security screen?
I've done it as tall as 4 stories, taking the ultralight on a pole. If you twist it just right, you can get it between the bars.
That's
and you can turn your pole, swivel it, and you can wash just in one section at a time. The downside is the ones I've done have a sliding screen door, so somebody has to be up in the suite and pull the screen sideways, right? You still have to have somebody in the suite to do that.
Yeah.
So I kind of back out of those now, just because I can't do a good job.
Yeah, it's difficult. There's no answer. But anyway, when there's no answer, there's no answer. It's got to be efficient, otherwise, and cost effective for the customer, or it's not going to work. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So did you have a fan? Oh, you've got a wife. I heard you say that. So, and then you have kids. Oh yeah, you got a son that you go fishing with. How many kids?
I got 2 boys.
Okay.
2 sons. Last year they were both working for the company.
Nice.
This year my oldest son is still doing sales for us.
Yeah.
But my youngest son, he's 20. He joined a coaching company called SuperTech University. He's doing a lot of their online marketing and their webinar. He's creating webinars for them.
Wow.
I don't know if you ever heard of SuperTech. If somebody's listening here, if you want coaching,
I will look it up. And who does it apply to? Who does SuperTech? Who do they service? Who's their market?
Service industries, just like us. But they specialize in. What's that?
Let's get him to introduce us to the CEO, and we'll bring him onto Service Six Sigma.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah, he's not home right now, but
what later. Yeah.
What they specialize in is they create like 5-minute videos that you show your team before the day on just reminders on how to treat people, how to do a certain job, or how to greet somebody. So they do that for you, and they have like, I don't know, 1,500 videos of different things just to remind your team of how to deliver a great customer service.
Wow. Hey, if from a local point of view, what do you reckon is your USP? Because you've been doing this for 18 years, like developing and growing sideways, as well with other services. But what do you reckon is the USP that they say what's in the head goes through the body, so there's something about Denver that creates a USP. What is it?
Unique selling? Is that what you're talking?
Yeah. What makes your businesses unique and what do you want to make it more preferable than any other competitor?
In the beginning, it was me. I had a hard time getting out of that. I had to be at every job.
Right.
So in the beginning, it was me. Now it's more, my team still delivers as if it was me. We can still deliver the quality service. So that we're really proud of. And also it's the quality of our equipment. So you saw my truck. The truck there's nothing like it in Manitoba. We're the only truck like it in central Canada. And I don't know how many customers you have for your reach it brushes and poles, but other than Ken, I know Ken Taylor from Winnipeg, but other than him, I'm not sure who else you have here in Manitoba, but the brushes are second to none. And that really makes a difference. And I proved it last year because we lost a job, a pretty big job, to a cheaper company. And then a couple months after they were supposed to do it, we got the call and said, "Hey, can you come take a look at this?" And And they looked, and they hadn't been done yet. That's what it looked like. I said, yeah, I'll do a sample half a window, then you can decide if you want us to do it or not. So I did a sample half a window with radial rocker and then ultralight to follow it up because it was a post construction clean.
Right.
And it was great, right? So my team went and we got hired and we killed it. It looked fantastic. And then because we did a great job with your brushes, we lost the job in fall. They did it again, but they went with the cheaper guy. And then we lost it now in spring again because they went with the cheaper guy because we did such a
because you actually cleaned it properly. Yeah.
I was a little frustrated with that, but that's unique about us. And and we build everything, other than near poles, we make our own pure water systems. I have a red, but I have modified everything else. My vans and that truck has a home built system on it for pure water.
Yeah, because you've got all the gizmos. That's like Ben. Ben's got all the gizmos.
Yeah, so we build whatever we need, and that allows us to take on jobs where other companies will say no.
Yeah.
Like originally, before you had the radial rocker or that rinse bar that shoots to the side like that, the newest rinse bar, you had the one that shoots straight out.
Yeah.
I needed water in the corner, so I actually heated up a needle and I burned holes in the rhino tube all the way around. Yeah, to jet the water sideways. So
great. Wow, why didn't I think of that? But anyway, but I love the peacock, tail kind of, effective radial now, so it does the job.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, but that was, you look at that was years I was trying to solve that problem, water in the corner. We used to have the little jets in the middle, in the center of the brush to put water in the corner, but it wasn't over the top of the brush, so it wasn't the same as leaving pure water on the glass in spot free. Yeah. Oh, you're a clever cookie. Yes.
You came up with the other ones. Now I don't. My design is actually in the museum box. So
the Reach It Museum. That's great.
I do promote you guys a lot. So
thank you. Well, you've been on the whole journey with us. I think. And so let me ask you this then: like, which service delivers the highest? I don't want you to say the hourly rate, I don't think, but what service delivers the highest hourly rate from what because there's a lot of investment. It's not fair just to say, oh, I make $300 an hour here, because it's anybody listening to it, the juxtaposition is how much did you spend on the equipment, isn't it? So, because you've got that skid, I think, is $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 something.
It's about 50,000 American, about 85 here in Canada.
85,000, yeah. So you're running an exterior service business with $100,000 worth of gear. So yeah. But so which service is your preference? As far as just return on investment.
Return on investment, I like the window cleaning. Because it's all paid for already, but the potential for best hourly rate and the more wow effect is the soft wash systems, the soft wash truck. Just that the dramatic change, you see it right away, and unfortunately I can't do that on that same house every year, but but it's that would be nice. I don't know if I said to you before.
It's a really interesting conversation, actually, is this principle, because I also have this. I look at some of the competitors who make products to fail, like consumerism, and I go, but I'm making an industrial tool. I can't make it to fail. But you imagine how much easier it is if a pole failed every year, and you knew that every time you got a customer, they would come back every year or every 2 years, and you'd know that they'd come back and buy another pole. And your brushes fail every 6 months, so twice a year this customer's going to come back and buy another brush. Every customer you get is now you can count on them. The lifetime value of that customer is multiplied out. Whereas if you deliver a crazy good product which doesn't fail, which took us years, I'm not saying that we did that from the beginning, but we think we're there now. Then and it's repairable. Then now now our business is we have to go and find either new customers on a continual basis, which we always have because our poles have lasted forever, 10 years kind of since the beginning. The guys who bought the first poles we ever made are still putting new clamps on them. Oh, you're one of those.
I'm one of those.
Right. So we never get to sell you. That's it. You've got 2 Reach It Pros, and we've never, we don't need to sell you another Reach It Pro unless you get another truck,
Right. I'm due for 4 Warriors. I have 2 Pros, 7 Warriors, and about 4 Minis. So.
Oh God. Yeah, I thought you were a big customer.
So, and then I've got I just ordered 2 more ultralights and another set of French window brushes. So I got 8 ultralights and 4 sets of French window brushes.
Holy dooly.
Plus I got a bunch of radio rockers and 18-inch radio rockers and 14-inch radio rockers, and I got my favorites. I definitely got my favorites. The 18-inch radials, they're very heavy, so I don't use them a lot.
No.
Yeah, but the ultralights have quickly become our go-to brush.
Right. See, that's what I say to everybody. If somebody said, "What's my favorite brush?" I said, "It's the ultralight because it's everything which I've ever thought of delivered in the smallest form." Right. Yeah. It's crazy, and the pounds per square inch from an ultralight is crazy because you've just got the little scrubbies, and the same amount of force delivered across a smaller area gives you more pounds per square inch, which means if you want it to be aggressive, it's not as aggressive as the rocker, which has got the cheese grater and the Hulk and the stuff on the rocker that we can't put on the ultralight, but carborundum versus carborundum, non-scratch versus non-scratch, magic eraser versus magic eraser, there's more pounds per square inch from an ultralight, and we've still got the bristles to break the surface tension, so you get cascading rinse on a hydrophobic window. I better stop. Right?
Absolutely. No, I get it. I say that too. Like I've got what's her name's now? Purple Rhino in in
the UK.
In England, UK?
Yeah.
He's got Nautilus window cleaning now.
Yeah.
He bought his first ultralight because my son was over there getting mentored by him for 10 days. And he gave him window cleaning tips. Next thing you know, he's ordering an ultralight to test it out. I hope he ordered more.
We'll get in touch with him and find out that he's using the right technique, because the thing which I find is that guys, they're so ingrained in Gardner over there or Tucker in America or whatever, and they've got this technique that was developed like 60 years ago, and they don't, and if they don't understand that it comes, and by the way, part of what I've learned from Service Six Sigma is that I need to put something in the box with the brush. I haven't done that, and now I'm realizing that it's so easy for me to fix. I need to say, you need to watch this video. Here's a QR code. Go and watch this video before you touch this thing. Right. Because Ben came to me. The reason Service Six Sigma exists is because Ben came to me and said, your social media is crap, right? And I said, well, I said, I don't, every influencer, can influence, but they always want everything for free. And then Ben said, no, I've already bought the radial rocker off you, right? But then when he got the radial rocker, he's still got to go through this process of learning the technique, and that's what it actually taught me a lot, talking to somebody.
Get Ben into an ultralight.
Oh, he's got an ultralight. Now, have you been using the ultralight yet, Ben?
I have. I used it today.
Ta-da!
It's a game changer compared to like what Denver was saying. You could totally feel the difference on the pole, especially on a 2-story home.
Yeah.
How light the brush is.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like I could feel a difference for sure.
It's only 6 ounces, right? Without the gooseneck. It's 6 ounces. It's the whole brush, right?
And I would say it's a lot easier to swivel the brush on the window as well.
Because your pole is a drive shaft and an axle, right? That's its function. Mm-hmm. The less load, you want the load, everything which is in your every ounce of movement you make is a calorie of energy. In order to have that calorie, you have to eat food. So there's another level of efficiency in actually. You don't need to eat as much if you are more efficient, right? And eating costs money. So I know it's a long shot, but it's actually true. Is that like making your life easier is it saves you money, and you make more money, you save money, you've got more power at the end of the day from the food that you ate. You go home and be a good husband, a good wife. A good husband, good wife for the women, and you be a good dad. You know, you got energy.
Yeah. And that's so true. And I thank you for always innovating, because up until last year, because of the heights of the buildings that we work on, I was afraid to hire ladies to join our team, because I know how strenuous it is on the upper body and on the shoulders, especially even the arms, the forearms in here. Like mine are sore from doing it for 18 years. But the ladies on our team, they were washing windows at 7 stories last year. On one particular building.
That's so cool.
And it had an ultralight on the top. Of course, we used the not the ultralight, we used the French window brush. We went down to the 8-inch just to make it even lighter. But yeah, they were operating a Warrior with a plus A, a plus B, and I think I had a C on the end yet.
Right, from the old days. Yeah.
And they were doing that for, I don't know, probably a couple hours. It was just a small section where it was 7 stories, just because where the landscape goes down.
Yep.
And
the landscape's dropping away.
Yeah. So there were 7 stories, and as we got up the hill, then it got turned to 6 stories, and they're still working the same height on the building. But yeah, they would never have been able to do that with the rocker, which is twice as heavy. So I'm very thankful.
Maybe 4 times as heavy. Hey, Denver, let me ask you this, because Ben asked me this the other day. He's picked up a high job, right? And he was asking me about an extension for his pole. And he says, and I said, the extensions go, plus A goes in the middle near the top, and then plus B goes in the middle. And then and he goes, he was kind of disappointed. Like, don't you have it where you extend it from the bottom? Now, we came up with the XT, which became the plus C. So we invented that logic of turning a pole section upside down, and then using it as an extension. Rather, because in the old days, people would go to 8 sections, 9 sections, 10 sections like that, trying to keep it all telescopic, right?
Right.
But Denver, what's your opinion on plus CXT versus plus A plus B?
I think a Warrior with 2 C's on the end works fantastic. Then I don't have to take the Warrior apart and put an A and a B in there, right? Otherwise, I got to take the Warrior apart, and then I can put the red section, which is an A. Then I got to fit it in, and then I got to lift it up, take the next section apart. But if it's a real quick job, I can lift the Warrior, which is almost 40 feet, right?
Yep.
And then if I want to go 6 stories, I just put a C on the end, or even 2 C's. It's just quicker. It's more efficient for me.
That's my answer.
But that said, you can't get to 7 stories without the A and the B.
Well, the A weighs less than half the weight of a C.
Right.
So
but that's high up.
Yeah, when you go high, yeah. So and the B weighs only marginally more than a C, because the C is so big and so heavy, right? It just and then it makes a big difference, to the weight at the bottom of the pole, pushes the flex into the pole. So that's why I stopped making plus C, but
no, I can understand. You wouldn't want any more than 2 on there. I feel bad putting 2 on, but sometimes I just need an extra 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah. You got to do it. Yeah. And then I think that the other thing is that I say to people, if you want to go to 75 feet, just get B.
Yeah.
So that they're all together. But the B still weighs half of a C. So, because of the circumference determines the total amount of carbon fiber that you use, and then that determines the weight. You can't buy lighter carbon fiber. You can only use less of it to make a pole lighter,
Right. You mentioned this a few shows ago. I caught this part where you talked about the A and the B, how they're put in strategic places on the pole because of how the pole bends, right?
How it wants to flex, yeah.
Yeah. And I totally get it. When you're going that high, you want as much rigidity as you can, because otherwise you got too much flex, and a slight breeze takes it. You have little control, or
you lose, and that loses your efficiency, because then you have to move slower.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll just give you this tip from the training point of view for the 7 stories. There is a difference between 7 stories, 6 stories, and 5 stories, and once you get to 5, it's pretty much the same down to 2. 5, 4, 3, 2. 5, 4, 3, and then 2 and 1 are exactly the same, pretty much the technique. But at 7 stories, the point that I try and make for people, which if you haven't got this in your training regime, I would add this. So there's 2 things. 1, what to do if it's windy, and 2, the process. So when you're cleaning at 6 and 7 stories, normally you're going to move horizontally on the ground, and you're going to ask a brush to move vertically on the glass. Right. So point that out. You shouldn't be using your arms like you would at 1 and 2 stories. That's all arms, no feet, Right,
you step forward.
Then there's a transition where you get into the rocking motion where you can use arms and feet. But then once you get to 6 and 7, it should just be feet, no arms.
Right. Yeah. No, that is something I teach as well. It's hard to put it in video because they only do it once or twice a year maybe, and they forget. Yeah. So when we get to that place, I usually show up and I just remind them.
Fantastic. Hey, Chris Lombardo.
He's another soft washer. He's a great guy. Oh,
great. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, we're looking for new guests because we've got to find 5 a week. It's great. So I'll tell you the other thing, that if you understand this physics of what's happening when you're cleaning a window, right? You're going from the bottom of the window. Let's say you start at the bottom. Let's say you go from the bottom of the window and you go to the top, and then you come back down to the bottom. Now, and in scientific terms, you're going to accelerate. You're going to be at 0 speed. So you're going to accelerate to a certain speed. Then you're going to maintain a consistent amount of force until you get to near the top of the window. Then you're going to Then you're going to decelerate and stop for a microsecond, let's say, at the top. Right. Then gravity is going to help you accelerate, and then you're going to use your muscles to control the descent. So it's not free fall, right? And then you're going to control that, and then it's going to decelerate and stop at the bottom of the window, and then you're going to accelerate again. Now, at the top, there's nothing. Everything is normal at the top of the window. However, at the bottom of the window, because you're a long way down, you could be, 60 feet down. Right, there is a time difference between the brush coming to the bottom of the window and having to go back up again, which you visually see, but isn't what you're experiencing on the ground. So this is where normally the error is. Whereas 1 and 2 story, we go like this, and you can go through this: accelerate, maintain, decelerate, stop, accelerate, maintain, decelerate, stop. That's the actual science of what's happening to the brush. And you can go through this process just absolutely normally. But when you get to 6 and 7 stories, if they see the brush coming down and then they go to accelerate, then that's how they put it's that accelerating motion which they put the flex into the pole. So you just train them at 6 and 7 stories that on the downstroke accelerate slowly, and less of your energy will be lost in flex. The pole will stay more rigid.
Years ago, I actually broke one that way.
Yes.
Yeah. So I snapped not one of yours. Not one of yours.
But I've snapped a few in my life, and usually when I'm exhausted and I'm trying to I'm doing a 3-story or 4-story building, and I'm coming down, and thinking I can get down, I'm down at like 20 or 30 degrees off horizontal and thinking I can push it back up again.
That's when you're pushing against
fiberglass, and I'm flexing the pole to reduce the surface friction and trying to push it up, and then bam, like snapped. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't done that. I haven't done that for years, and
no, me neither. Well,
I'm very proud of my team and how they've taken care of the equipment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely an angle you can't go below. If you go below, you've got to shorten the pole. Just walk into the building and go, this is not worth pushing. Shorten the pole, walk into the building, and then push it up again. Yeah.
And that's where you reach up, you undo it, and you slide it down 6 inches, and then you just keep going.
That's all. It's just shorten the pole, and you're fine. One more thing, and then over to you, Ben. The other one that I wanted to share, because there's very few people, by the way, in the industry that clean at 6 and 7 stories, and a lot of people don't understand that when you have a 7-story pole, there's only 1 story of that building, and each story, 6 and 7 are pretty similar, and then 5, 4, 3 are similar in the technique, and then 2 and 1 are similar in the technique, and so when you have a 7-story pole, 1/7 of that building you're going to clean at 7 stories, and 1/7 you could clean by hand. Like, so this is the 80-20 rule, which you probably heard me talk about for years. Now, that said, I want to talk about when the wind is blowing, because if you get a wind come up, or somebody goes around a building and they end up in a wind tunnel, which they didn't have wind on the north wall, and they go to the east wall and then there's wind, even if they never experience it, but to know that you corkscrew the pole, you twist the pole into the wind. So you corkscrew it. If they see the pole flexing like that, if you see the pole flexing like that, you'll turn the pole like that. You'll tighten its flex and straighten it, right?
Okay.
So it's one just for them. If they come across, obviously there's a day where you say if it's too windy or you feel unsafe, you should never extend a pole, but if they are on a job and the wind comes up and they start getting gusts of winds, knowing what to do. It's a bit like first aid, right? I've never done CPR, but I kind of know how to do CPR.
I've never verbalized it. I think I probably do that instinctively, but I've actually never verbalized it. So
yeah, and then drop that into your training regime as if this ever happens, you go, okay, I'm going to twist it that way, and it starts falling off the building, and you twist it that way and it straightens up and goes in and leans into the wind,
Yeah. No, good. So that's the only one building that we do. I try to say no to those.
Yes.
It was such a small section. They couldn't, no rope company would do it. It was too expensive. And they asked if we could tackle it. And I said, theoretically we can, but it's got to be a perfect day.
Yes.
So then we pick our days. Unfortunately, it's a 2-hour drive away.
Oh, goodness me.
So
Ben, over to you.
Yeah, so with your exterior window clean, do you primarily do water-fed pole?
Yeah, in the spring, summer, and fall we do. As long as it's above freezing, that's pretty much all we do exterior.
Okay.
We do have to make some adaptations, like when you got oxidation on frames. I don't know if you have PVC windows.
Yeah.
I think Perry, you have a video on oxidation on plastic siding, and that took me a while to drill it into my crew's head. That you can wash the frames, but it'll just run down that milky film, right? Will just run down. So you have to be prepared for that. But once we got that trained, we haven't had a problem. So.
Yeah, the thing about oxidation is that it will only come into your rinse water if you've touched it. And I proved that with a video. You can put pure water on oxidized plastic vinyl, and it will not come off. And that's where this myth that somehow pure water helps clean windows. It's all bullshit. The reason you have pure water is to leave a spot-free rinse. That's it.
Right. I mean, I teach my people to actually wash the frame. So in case they actually let's do it on purpose. Let's wash it, get most of the oxidation off.
Yes.
Then do all the windows all around, and then come back to window number 1. And now just do the glass.
And just do the glass. That's exactly what I teach. Exactly what I teach. Do all the frames. And somebody wrote to me the other day and said, "But isn't it double handling?" And I go, "Well, it's not double handling because you've got no choice. So no matter what brush you use, it's what you have to do to deliver the service."
Yeah.
And filling your brush up, trying to do one window at a time doesn't make sense because your brush is full of oxidation. It's just
right.
Hey,
it's one of those pluses, one of those little services. We call them like +1s or little bonuses. We just tell people we're going to scrub their frames. Other companies will just come in and just wash the glass, but the frames are still dirty, right? So we just price that in, and we automatically just wash their frames and then come back to window number 1 and then do the cycle again just with the glass. So
So you do that on every job?
Every PVC window job, yeah. If it's metal frames, we'll wash the metal frames too, just to polish them up. You asked what set us apart, unique selling proposition or whatever, and those are some of the things that we do, just little extras, right?
Yeah, you do it right.
And this is another one. This is we're registered with a company called the Seal. This is mandatory through Software Systems.
Yep.
Right now, we're the only company in Canada that is certified like this. It's third-party verified. And so they check us against any predatory stuff. We get checked here through our RCMP, our police system. And then the company that checks my people and myself included, send our information down south to the seal, and they verify our insurance, and then they print us these hologram cards, and people can QR code them to our website and tells them about us. And one side is a review QR code. You go to the customer's place, you want to review me, just scan that, and then it takes you right to a link where they can put in a review right away. So in the last year, through our systems, our CRM, and our company we use called Nice Job that collects reviews for us, we went from like 30 or so reviews to almost 300 in about a year or so. So so our reviews have really jumped.
And that's got to give you a return on investment for using Seal, right?
It's supposed to. Right now, it's just a novelty. I haven't really. It's brand new to me. I got this in January.
Yeah.
That's when they got connected with the company that did our background checks for us.
Yeah.
And through AC, I saw AC's name pop up on the screen, but through his company and Software Systems, the Seal is connected with them. And when I got to talking to the owner of the Seal and just conversations, I put him in touch with my guy who does our checks, our background inspections, and they connected, made a deal, and next thing you know, we're in Canada. So
did you work with Ed over at the Seal?
Yeah, Ed's fantastic.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. I want to get him on the show and
definitely
get him talking.
That's a great show. That would be a great show. Ben, your voice sounds better.
Thank you.
It's the pink juice.
It's the pink juice that you're hating on.
We've had Ben in the background because he started when pre-show. He's got the huskiest voice, and they go like, "That's like."
I'm a new man.
Like he's 12 again.
Yeah. It could be that pink stuff that you're drinking that's making sealing like fabric softener on your throat as it slowly poisons you.
Oh God.
Hey, I was going to ask one more question, Denver. We're coming close to time. It's been very, very enjoyable, by the way. The French pane windows. We have a 6-inch and an 8-inch ultralight. If I can indulge, I have no idea what people use them for or how much they like them or anything like that. I know I made them because there was never a brush. Like if you have French panes, cut-ups, whatever, and it's a regular clean and there's nothing on them at all, then I think a bristle brush is fine, whether it's a Beast Light or a light or a radial or whatever, anything like that, you can use just a bristle brush. But the problem it came and is and was and always has been when you've got stuff that doesn't come off with bristles and water, right? What the hell do you do with a French pane? And it was always you've got to blade it or you got to go back to manual and you got to get steel wool on it or whatever. And so that's where, somebody said, can you cut down the ultralight to 6 and 8 inches? And we could just do it. So if you could share with me your personal experiences with it, I'm just going to indulge.
Okay. Well, picture a French door. Usually they have 5 levels of small windows and about 2 or 3 wide. So we're looking at 15 small panes of glass. Just imagine squeegeeing that with either you're washing it, hand washing with a microfiber towel, and then squeegeeing it dry because you don't want to leave water spots with a 6-inch little squeegee. So you're just wiping a little window, then you're getting in there and you're squeegeeing a little window, right? And you're talking 15 of those. Now you got a whole wall of that. You got 4, 8, 10 walls, depends what kind of building you're in. Actually, I have a customer that I work for, I think had, I want to say 1,500 French windows. Okay.
Wow.
And that drove me nuts. We did that all with squeegees. Okay. And, but you put the little French window brush on and you're putting it right in the frame because a 6-inch is small enough to fit all of them. I've never found one smaller, but an 8-inch will fit into sometimes you get these 10-inch sections.
10-inch, yeah. 8 inches will do 10-inch.
An 8-inch fits in nicely in there. And it's quick. It's quick, especially if you're just doing a dust removal, like just a quick wash.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it.
Wow. And I think what because before I always wanted to make a 6-inch like radial or whatever, because for a long time radial is about 2 inches or whatever. But by the time you put a 2-inch brush in a 6-inch window, there's no agitation. You haven't got anything to go up and down. But because ultralight is only like half an inch, top to bottom, it's like a Sorbo squeegee almost. The size of it, and so then you've got actually agitation going up and down and rinse happening, when you come off the bottom of it,
Right. And what was I going to say? The saving grace, like the comparison for the radio rocker versus the ultralight, is the rocker won't get into a corner very well. You got the bristles that flare out, right? You got the bristles that flare out, but because the round pad is wider, it's about 2 inches wide, you still have quite a bit of the corner that isn't agitated with the pad. The bristles remove the dust, but it doesn't always remove the debris, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where my team just loves the ultralight, because it gets within half inch or quarter inch of the corner, and that little bit nobody's going to complain about.
And that's acceptable. And then, by the way, when you have a look at G-Force, you'll see what we did in G-Force. Ben noticed the other day, but all of our G-Force scrubs are oversized by 5 millimeters. 5 millimeters is like a 1/10, 1/5 of an inch, something. And so the idea of that is that they can then go against a frame or into a corner and then compress, and then as they decompress, they're agitating. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So you're basically concertining the material into the corner, and then as it expands out again, it's actually moving in the area that you wouldn't normally get to. It's kind of like a little agitation in itself, but in a concertina style,
I've used the G-Force a little bit. I have I think 3 or 4 of them, but my people still go back to the ultralight.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I think G-Force is only designed for, when I say only, there are guys using them at 4 stories, and there are guys using them on rope access now a lot. Okay. And but the real design of G-Force is below the waist glass, the glass that goes to the ground, because you don't need to change your posture. You can just go from 12 feet to 0 feet, without changing your posture. You don't have to go.
There are more guys out there doing rope access or rope descent with pure water. Because
when I say it's not, it's 0.01% of the industry, but it's if you go overseas, even in China and stuff like that, you see guys with brooms on ropes with hoses over the top, 6 of them across a building and washing buildings with brooms. Hilarious.
Yeah, I team up with them. I team up with a rope company. Not your thing?
I'm not showing them my stuff because they'll copy it, and sell in China.
No, I team up with a rope company that does the odd job for me, or with me. We partner, and so I supply the pure water stuff.
Touch base with Peter Thomas. Peter Thomas can put you in touch with the guy in Australia who's been doing a lot of the feedback on it. Okay. What we did, because we've got the clip, so you can slide you can slide the control across, but he doesn't need that or want that when he's up high. So we just put silicon. He put silicon underneath it to lock it in the center. Because like when you're working on ropes, nothing can go wrong, nothing can slip, nothing can fall. Everything has to stay with the guy. So that's how we made sure. We could have screwed it together as well, but we just recommended to put silicon underneath it.
Okay.
Anyway, blah blah.
Yeah, no, I've always used ultralight rocker. So I've never used a G-Force on a rope. I've always used the ultralight or the rocker.
I think you'll find with the when you realize that it can spin 360, like Byron picked up on the logic of the solar rocker, is that having the jets underneath, when he gets to a really dusty job, he'll take out the G-Force and just turn it upside down and have the jets on the underside, and then just go top to bottom and get all the dirt off. Because like as window cleaners, we're kind of always pushing stuff uphill, and then waiting for it to come off. But with G-Force, you can so easily just turn it 180 degrees and then just pull all the dirt off in a single stroke. So Byron is, because he cleans out in Western Australia and the country, so he does a lot of countryside stuff, which is like, dust and dirt on the windows,
Okay. Wow. I'm looking forward to trying that.
Yeah. There's always something new.
Yeah.
There's always something. Anyway, there's just always something new. Like, isn't it, Ben?
Definitely. A lot to learn.
Yeah, and no, but also from tools. Like Ben and I were talking about another tool, and I'm going, I can make a better one of those. Like, but
Which one? I probably have it.
No, so well,
A secret.
I'll talk to you when we
Yes.
stop live, right? Because you could probably also be a good person
Yes,
to
you
test.
would.
Yeah, definitely, because you're dealing with stuff that it really needs to know. You really need to know it works. All right, what do you reckon, Ben? Have we?
That was beautiful. I love this show.
Yeah, fantastic.
good
Denver, appreciation to you. We would love an intro. I think you already know Ed from the Seal, Ben, but Denver, if you give him a whistle, because sometimes if two people approach him at once, we get a faster response. We'd love to interview him, and then who was the other guy? We've got AC and who's Super Tech. Yeah. Let's see if we can get the CEO of that. We like the CEO because the CEOs have got the vision, the inspiration. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we want to talk about. Like what was cracking along in your brain when you came up with this and made you go to commit your life to helping other people with this thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to them. I'm on a pod with them tomorrow's Thursday, right? So
yes.
Yeah, today's Wednesday.
No, today I don't know. It's Wednesday here, so don't ask me.
Okay, so on Thursday at 6, I'm on a group with them every week. So
nice.
I'll chat with them.
All right, mate. Thank you very much. It was really fun. Enjoyed it a lot.
Yes, thank you.
Stay on and we'll chat afterwards. Yeah.
Okay.
All
right, we want to thank everybody for joining today's show, and join us live tomorrow for our next podcast.
Oh, hello there. Ben here with Epic Extra Services, president and co-founder of Service Six Sigma. We want to thank you for joining our live stream today. We appreciate any feedback is welcome. Please comment on our future posts and live streams. We always love to see the engagement in our live streams. Always ask questions, always post your comments, and reshare this video with your friends, family, Facebook, social media. Share it everywhere as much as possible. We would highly appreciate it. And if you know of a guest that would be great for our live stream, please pass them our way. You can visit our website at service6sigma.com, and there is a guest contact form that way, and we will interview that guest to make sure they are a good fit for our live stream. Again, thanks again for joining our live stream at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we will see you next time.